Good morning everyone, little bit of a Sunday bimbalette, nothing grand, just a quick Halfords trip. It's relatively early on a Sunday morning, it's just gone 10 o'clock, I'm still indicating like an idiot. Thought I'd jump on the bike frankly because traffic is generally a bitch, and even at this time of the morning, heading into Watford is a pain in the ass. Not as bad as heading into London, but you catch my drift. I am trying to make a bit of a conscious effort. It was one of you guys when I was asking about riding styles and position 1, 2 and 3. I know there's some debate on advanced rider courses and IAD and all about oh god, what's his name, username Kate, which I don't follow. I'm not entirely sure I've seen a video on, but a fairly well known YouTuber by all accounts, and the fact that she was given, you know, possibly a bit of an easy ride, to be given her big advance tick for slightly negating the whole credibility of IAD and yada yada yada, whatever. I am looking at the courses. I would like to be a better rider. Also aware that it's beneficial to your insurance premiums as well if you have done them. But I am looking at them. I don't really want to do it in the height of winter because I'm a wuss. No, if I'm learning stuff, you're always a better student if you're warm and dry rather than you're doing it in the pissing wet. But it's the UK, you can never guarantee that, but let's face it, it's more likely if you're not doing it in the height of winter. But I am looking at stuff like that, but I'm also trying to concentrate a little bit more on my riding. Now, while I'm doing this, people are thinking, oh, but you just crossed double lines and yada. Yeah, fucking welcome to biking, really. Is it rules are there for the blind obedience of fools and the guidance of wise men, yada yada yada. That's a bit highbrow for a Sunday night. Well done, although I probably got that quote wrong. Yeah, it's not about it's not about the law. Everything's about the law. You don't want to get done for it, nor do you want to do anything either stupid or dangerous. By dangerous, I'm not just talking me. The big difference on a bike to a car is generally, not always, but generally you're on your own. So the principal person you're putting at risk is yourself, not somebody else. What's going on here? But it's taking too long to go on, whatever it is. Oh, do come on, you can fit through that gap, even if you do it really slowly. There's plenty of room. Get a fucking... get a bus through. Oh, come on. Arseholes. All of them. And the irony of me talking about riding safer while I do something like that, I know, but frankly I'm more vulnerable stationary than I am moving, is what I have in my mind. I was trying to tap my head but realised you can see it. Tried tapping the camera and realised that looks stupid. Yeah, so I am trying to be a better rider, despite what I did back there, but you know, one of the golden principles for me is motorbikes are vulnerable stationary. Particularly in situations like that where there's lots of people getting frustrated because they can't move. It only takes one of them to do something daft. There is a excellent Fortnite video on driver visibility or rider visibility, which, if I can remember how, whatever, I will put in a link. It's really good. Where it's talking about, you know, invisible riders and, you know, slightly discusses merits of bright colours and lumivests and all that sort of stuff. But really it comes down to the fact that the human brain is lazy and it sees what it wants to, mostly because your brain can't process everything you see, so your mind can't process everything it sees, so your eyes effectively, or everything the eyes capture, that's a better way of putting it, so your brain picks and chooses, and it misses stuff and it fills in gaps. You know, it's why you can't see your nose, is if I remember correctly, because your brain knows what your nose looks like and it just filters it out of the picture, unless it's my nose and I can see it at all times because it's huge. Family legacy, what can I say? Where was I going? Yeah, I'm trying to make myself a better rider, so I'm concentrating a little bit more on it, concentrating on what's around me. I'm aware that because I didn't do mod 1, mod 2, etc, etc, I learned overseas and transferred my license across when I returned. I'm aware that I didn't have lifesavers beaten into me to the degree that everybody else does, where everything's a lifesaver constantly on mod 1, mod 2, and essentially Nat's view is that they overdo it when you're learning, knowing that when you're actually riding you'll do it less, but the residual value will still be high enough, if you follow my drift. So, you know, they get you when you're learning, it's that level. When you've passed and you're doing it, it's there, but it's still at a safe level. Mine's really low. I don't do enough of them. I am very reliant on my mirrors. I think it's a leftover from driving a car for a long time before I rode a bike. It's the fact that I use my mirrors a lot more than I turn my head, and I know that is a fault. But the bit that I am trying to concentrate on, particularly on towns and bits like this, is one of you guys was saying about, you know, yeah, you find that the one thing I would suggest is a bit more awareness of manhole covers, of which there are plenty. And that's a fair one. I've noticed it a few times, particularly around the estate that I live on. Low speeds, wet, turning, you do get a bit of a wheel spin, and occasionally the back wheel will want to try and disappear. Will try and leave you behind. So I am concentrating on that a little bit more. I am trying to be a little bit more aware. I get a bit blasé, particularly in traffic, because I do it reasonably frequently. Yeah, so, and plus I get used to commuting traffic where it's quite competitive. Everybody needs to be somewhere, and weekend traffic, when it's a bit more meandering, frankly throws me a bit, because it's a very different style of riding. Right, I'm at Halford. I've come out to get some bits and pieces for the little scooter, trying to keep it, I don't want to say below budget, I haven't set a budget, but trying to keep it cheap. I need some oil and a couple of other bits while I'm here. My personal parking spot. Right, I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so oil change on this little Piaggio. I've got to get away from saying right as I start each scene, because I noticed on my last editing that I do it a lot. Right, let's check this then. That was on purpose. So just to clarify, because it causes some confusion, testing oil, do it cold, according to El Bucco. All coolant stuff, do it cold. Changing oil, do it warm. But on this bike, because I've looked up on the manual, it does definitely say to do the oil dip cold and with the plug screwed all the way in, not just dabbed in at the top. so completely dry. Bang it in. See all the scars on the back of my hand from putting on that sodding fairing. That was a real pain in the hoop. So on snug rather than tight. And drag it back out. And we're just on the tip of how much of that you can see, so it is a bit light, but so I'm going to have to top it up anyway. I may as well drop what's there. The book says 5W40, which I've got this morning. It also says about 400 ml, so I'm going to get it up to temperature, just get that oil nice and warm, and then we'll drain it out. Right, so it's nice and warm. Dropped it on its side stand so that I can drain the bolt without getting it all over my floor. Do want to, as much as I can, keep my hands away from this. Oil's dark. Filter don't look too bad. Oh shit. Creating a mess off shot. Right, I'll leave that to drain, pull it up straight to get the last out. It all looks a bit burnt, doesn't look too bad. Right, there we go, it's all buttoned up, pretty much. Just want to see if it's less rattly now. I've still got that oil on yet, it's got loads in it. Brakes are good. I've only got one wing mirror at the moment because the other one is beyond repair, so I'm replacing it, but it's in the post. Oil light flashing and now gone, so maybe that top up has just worked its way round what's required. I've got a flashing coolant light, but that's been doing that since the off. It's a lot less bouncy and rattly, which can only be a good thing. It did feel like it was going to fall apart before. So 30 mile an hour. That's a 125. It's not going to set the world alight, is it? Not anytime soon. That's a brilliant little thing. Fuel light's gone. Little kitty. She's lovely. They've got a beautiful dog in that house. It's huge. Big white thing called Gandalf. As cool as you like. It's got one of those barks you can feel as much as you can hear, you know, kind of reverberate through you. Right. I think we're good. I just got to get that wing mirror on. I'm umming and ahhing a bit over whether or not to paint the exhaust black. In fact, I'll leave that open to you. What do you think, people? I don't know if it's worth it, frankly, but it's still relatively early, so I might just give it a go. We'll see. We'll see. That'll do me. Cheers. Ta-da.